Two sugars in a week and bake. I'm laughing at her. She's trying to roll. Can't roll a split for life. Said, truth be told, I said good morning to ya. What's up? It's coffee in the kitchen. Pour me a cup. Two sugars and a wake and bake. 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 Two sugars and a wake and bake.
Two sugars and a wake and bake. I stuff the joint with my shoelace. I'm on the grind straight making cake. I smoke some to get my mind straight. A good look, I can forget your face. I really want you to come through my place. You sent a text and said I'm on my way. Getting late, I think that you should stay. Two sugars and a wake and bake, but this time it's the very next day. From my window you can see the whole bay. They can't do it like me, no way. Threes up for that HBK, and it's rich city, nigga, not V8, where we need our money on time, not late, and we on the grind like every day. So it's two sugars and a wake and bake. That's what helps me relax my mind. Everything in slow motion, happening in due time. You not about that life, man, you lying. My stuff alright, my mind is on Zion. I be so high, touch clouds as I'm climbing 30,000 feet, yeah, that's my climate.
Two sugars and a wake and bake. 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 Two sugars and a wake and bake.
I smoke two joints to the face. I love the way it tastes. Man, I'm on. I blow OG and lemon tree. The joints on me, and it's too damn strong. Look, I don't really share, and I don't really care if it smell like weed when I put it in the air. I'm a California bear, West Coast cure. Fresh wax joint got me stuck on the chair. My stash look mean, my glass so clean. Roll big joints, white ash only. Yeah, me and Sue get stoned and laugh. And the S-Class Benz on hash. Plant a seed, let the weed grow. Hit the crowd, burn an ounce up. I'm on diesel, I'm in NY. Boy, I been high. In the club with 24 pre-rolls. Oh my, don't blow my high. Me and Kylie both know why. The good herb, why I need to be free. So vote legal in 216. Wake up and take a hit like me. Two sugars and black coffee. Yeah, I get stoned in the AM. Fuck the club, roll up and stay in.
Two sugars and a wake and bake. 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 Two sugars and a wake and bake.
All the dab on me, man. All the drip on me and Z Bentley, man. Ain't know what the fuck going on, man. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. I got all the dab on me. All the drip on me. I got all the dab, all the dab. All the drip, all the drip. I got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip.
Throw the bitch a whole nother bean. Got a moon walking like she Billie Jean. She say she on 3, that's a triple team. Say she on 3, that's a triple team. And them fuck around and hit 3 niggas. Goddamn shawty, that's a triple bean. 40 hanging out a nigga denim jean. 40 hanging out a nigga denim jean. And I'm kicking shit, no bully. Walked in the bitch like screw me. But I pat down my foolie. I used to be bro, didn't know me. Swift with me, I ain't talking boom game. Me and everybody hit the motherfucking floor. Got a rollie on my ring, couple hundreds on my feet. Shit, bitch, you already know. Late night in the church with the killer gorillas and thug niggas in the motherfucking creature. And I'ma throw the D real for a little nigga, and you know that your bitch the receiver. Nigga, ain't gon' win on the beetle. Make the whole stand still black beetle. Bitch, you flying them motherfucking eagle. Bitch, you flying them motherfucking eagle. Yeah.
Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the
South side from sun up to sundown. We can put them friends up, put them guns down. Or we can put them guns on them which way you want now. Kill with the bird, button down. Blue fade rollers and them diamonds on bust down. Had it bad, you better hush now. Hey, bitch, I been dabbing, bitch, I been having. Rolling all gas, that's a mush now. I ran on the rad, that's a touchdown. I move, fool, cause this shit go. So the dick so long, she caught the hiccup. I want thank God for New Year. Hey, I pour that act in the motherfucking roof. This New Year on the coupe. I look up and I ain't her roof. And I kiss shit, no fever. My pockets swell up like the measles. I pull up and pop at your people. Patrolling the spot with the heater. Don't say no name, I got amnesia. I lick it and leave on the teaser. No second, no, I can't repeat it. I told her Michael Jackson beat it. Got all this dab on me. Got all this drip on me. Got all this dab on me. Got all this drip on me. Got all this dab, all this dab. Got all this drip, all this drip. Got all this dab, all this dab. Got all this drip, all this drip. Got all this dab on me. Got all this drip on me. Got all this dab on me. All this drip on me. I got all this dab, all this dab. All this drip, all this drip. I got all this dab, all this dab. I got all this drip, all this drip.
Two sugars in a week and bake. 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 I'm laughing at her. She's trying to roll. Can't roll a split for life. Said, truth be told. I said, good morning to you. What's up? It's coffee in the kitchen. Pour me a cup. Two sugars in a wake and bake. 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 Two sugars in a wake and bake.
Two sugars and a wake and bake. I stuff the joint with my shoelace. I'm on the ground straight making cake. I smoke some, digging my mind straight. A good look, I can forget your face. I really want you to come through my place. You sent a text and said I'm on my way. Getting late, I think that you should stay. Two sugars and a wake and bake, but this time it's the very next day. From my window you can see the whole bay. They can't do it like me, no way. Threes up for that HBK, and it's rich city, nigga, not V8, where we need our money on time, not late, and we on the grind like every day. So it's two sugars and a wake and bake. That's what helps me relax my mind. Everything in slow motion, happening in due time. You not about that life, man, you lying. My stuff alright, my mind is on Zion. I be so high, touch clouds as I'm climbing. 30,000 feet, yeah, that's my climate.
Two sugars and a wake and bake. 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 Two sugars and a wake and bake.
I smoke 2 joints to the face. I love the way it tastes. Man, I'm on. I blow OG and lemon tree. The joints on me, and it's too damn strong. Look, I don't really share, and I don't really care if it smell like weed when I put it in the air. I'm a California bear, West Coast cure. Fresh wax joint got me stuck on the chair. My stash look mean, my glass so clean. Roll big joints, white ash only. Yeah, me and Sue get stoned and laugh. And the S-Class Benz on hash. Plant a seed, let the weed grow. Hit the crowd, burn an ounce up. I'm on diesel, I'm in NY. Boy, I been high. In the club with 24 pre-rolls. Oh my, don't blow my high. Me and Kylie both know why. The good herb, why I need to be free. So vote legal in 216. Wake up and take a hit like me. 2 sugars and black coffee. Yeah, I get stoned in the AM. Fuck the club, roll up and stay in.
Two sugars and a wake and bake. 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 Two sugars and a wake and bake.
cannabis purified. It will pop up unidentified. I'm feeling energized, cause world peace is what we symbolize. Don't live a lie, be truthful and also thoughtful. A boy becoming a man, a king is what they should call you. They say Moses seen Jesus through a burning bush. So light the Mary Jane before you learn this hook. Conversations with a queen that's a smoker. Blowing love and lightened by the weed you brought over. I leaned a little closer and told her,
small world we're living in, rock set in stone. One life I've been living in. Come on, let's go. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you. Estábamos en México por la playa de Cancún. Iba caminando yo con el negrito dum dum.
Entonces empezamos a enrular marihuana. Esta es una planta natural, no es mala. Dios la puso aquí para nosotros fumarla. Hay que legalizarla hasta el cáncer lo sana.
Hear me now, hay que prenderlo, hay que encenderlo. No quiero que digas no, Babylon. Te soy sincero, buena te quiero, escucha lo que digo yo. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you. I wanna get
dfzradio.com.
Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high.
All right, thanks for coming in. The specials today are a side of cannabis catered events with a whole lot of edumacation coming at you courtesy of Farm to Table Cannabis. And Chef's Menu will be going till 9 o'clock, and the Heavy Tea Show will be followed up. This is your favorite hydroponic chef on the air, yours truly, DFZ Radio. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's 5 o'clock. We open the kitchen. So, like the waiter said, there's some specials tonight. We got an awesome interview lined up with Rudy, Chef Rudy from Cannabis Catered Events. Hey, we're going to be talking all things medicated cuisine. We'll talk some cannabis cooking techniques. We'll be talking some preferred methods to infuse at home. And shit, if you sit back, relax, get medicated, you might even learn something today. You ain't got to pay nothing but attention. Just sit back. We're the only show offering you edible reviews, news on the top products in the industry, and interviews with the top brands in the industry. This is Farm to Table Cannabis, and I am the hydroponic chef. Let's start the show, Saint. We got the sound man Saint over there making us sound good every week, making sure my volume's right.
What up?
I have voice projection syndrome where I have a little hard time projecting into the mic, and sometimes
This guy.
before we talk every day, Saint's got to look at me and be like, "Hey, yo, chef, don't forget to project that voice, man."
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's the guy that like pumps me up before we go to battle.
That's right.
So we're out here doing our thing, getting lit, and we got Chef Rudy in the studio. I'd like to introduce everyone to our co-host of the evening and chef extraordinaire. Everyone's cannabis chef's favorite cannabis chef, and we like to pay homage to people doing it for the right reasons. And Rudy's going to be talking to us about all things cannabis and cuisine. Some of the things that have been going on in this world that we find ourselves in, from lockdown to unlockdown, back to lockdown, and everything around. Private events, public events, and shit. They might even throw some real events here coming up soon. We got MJ BizCon coming in October, too.
Yes.
So lots to cover here, lots to cover.
Hall of Flowers.
Hall of Flowers is going to be in SoCal this year, too. So that's an exciting new change to the way things are being done in this cannabis industry. And we're here to help you guys navigate through that. But as always, we like to start off the show with some news and keep you up to date on everything going on in this tumultuous industry. And let's take it out to Michigan for a minute. And this is from an article from MLive. And they're going into more marijuana licensing options and lower fees in the works for Michigan. So on Monday, they released a set of proposed marijuana industry rules that would add 2 new license types and reduce the fees and costs for obtaining these new licenses and renewing current licenses. So the 116-page rules are available for review at the Marijuana Regulatory Agency, and it's looking to go through on September 27th. So here are some of the notable things that we should take away from this. They're looking for a marijuana educational and research license, and this license will be allowed for people to create a new pathway for the creation of schools and curriculums related to cannabis education and research. And using licensing educators and researchers, they'd be allowed to grow and buy state licensed marijuana for use in studies. And because of the strict rules right now, they're not allowed to do this. And the federal academic funding, many public universities are not allowed to be able to utilize licensing and benefits. So Northern Michigan University runs a popular cannabis-focused program in their chemistry department, and it has about 400 students, but nothing like that would be opened up by this cannabis research licenses. The other license that's very interesting is the Class A micro business license. So this is almost like a vertically integrated, fully integrated micro business license. This new license would expand allowances that currently exist under the micro business license and would be allowed to create it for self-contained businesses to operate similar to boutique and microbreweries, but only a couple of these licenses have been issued since 2019. So the micro business may be able to grow, process, and sell its own cannabis and cannabis products, but hasn't been allowed recently to buy wholesale product from other licensed businesses. The new license doubles the amount of plants that the micro business could have from 150 to 300 and allows for the purchase of edibles, concentrates, and other licensed processing products, and the permits to license these purchases and to receive mature plants even that they don't grow themselves. So the one catch with the new micro business license would ban an in-house processing. So you can't process it in-house. So it's weird. You can buy it, you can get it, you can bring it on site, you can transport it, but don't you fucking dare trim it. It's weird, but it's a weird way of them navigating the bureaucracy. I'm sure they'll add some amendments to that. And then they're talking about reducing the cost too. So while the cost to enter the licensing marijuana market remains a lot, some of the administrative costs are reduced because of this latest proposal. The initial application fee is $6,000 to $3,000, and nearly all of these existing licenses fees are being slashed. So for example, a Class C growing license for up to 2,000 plants decreased from $40,000 to $24,000. Processing licenses went from $40,000 to $24,000 also. And the safety and compliances that you would see followed by that have been reduced from $21,000 to $15,000. So as you see Michigan slowly start to navigate the cannabis market, I mean, it looks like as far as getting rid of some of the red tape and bureaucracy, Michigan's got a pretty decent program set up right now, and they're making it easier for people to do business instead of harder to do business. Now let's take it to Colorado now in Aurora, and they just got licensed. We're going to go international with this news. Rudy, are you ready, Rudy? Are we going to talk some international news?
Let's go.
Mon ami. Aura Cannabis has sent their first shipment of cannabis to France. The subsidiary of Edmonton, Alberta-based Aura Cannabis, it delivered its initial shipment of medical marijuana to France for use on the country's pilot program. This was a free send, so they did not pay. No. This was a donation. The program is reportedly yet to serve medical cannabis to patients at no charge in the upcoming months and weeks.
No charge.
Aura was among companies from Australia, Canada, Israeli, and United Kingdom, choosing to provide products in partnership with the French pharmaceutical distributions for up to 3,000 patients. The medical marijuana is being supplied by participating companies by its own cost, and neither the government nor the patients will have to pay. How about that, sacre bleu? So French cannabis, shipping
United
from
States.
shipping from
What are we doing?
and other countries to France, and Aura Cannabis, a publicly traded company, who I should say I own stock in before I say this, is trying to import cannabis internationally. So hey, let's pump it, and then Saint, dump it. That was my stock tip of the week.
Hey.
Brought to you by Farm to Table Cannabis. We are not brokers, and we do not offer stock advice. But I want to get serious for a minute, because we're going to take it back to Michigan, guys. And Rudy, you're not the only Rudy in cannabis here. We got another Rudy right now on lockdown in Michigan, and his whole team, his whole family, everyone is coming together, and they're trying to get some light shed on this. And we always want to shed light on especially on a industry and people being disproportionately affected and taken from their family. But
Tell me about Lockdown Rudy.
Let's talk about this. So basically, Rudy Gammo, he's a Michigander who's been locked up for cannabis related offenses, and basically he was ahead of his time. This guy was the rules in Michigan took long to develop. This guy was going vertically integrated before vertically integration was even a thing in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it easier for regulatories, including law enforcement, to keep tabs on the industry when you're vertically integrated. But in Michigan, it was impossible to do this at the time, and it landed Rudy Gamo in prison, who was a pioneer for cannabis, and he's currently serving a 5.5-year sentence. And on Wednesday, Gamo's family today, basically, they're going to be going from supporting him to the courthouse, an Oakland courthouse in Pontiac, Michigan, to call for the immediate release and dropping of charges. Rudy was among the very first people licensed for cannabis in the city of Detroit to operate a medical cannabis dispensary, and he only sold 2 of those medical cannabis cards issued by the state. So he only had, the 2 that he had, and he sold both of those too. So he stocked the shelves. He had the cannabis grown in nearby houses and that he was owned and caregived by. And according to Gamo's attorney, as the industry source active at the time, this was standard operating procedure back in Michigan's early marijuana days. But, of course, the feds came down on him, and everybody's rallying around Rudy. So today is the day, you guys, that we're going to finally get some people going to bat for Rudy. We need to release Rudy, y'all. Free Rudy Gamo. We're going to make sure this goes all the way to Michigan, all the way to the House, all the way to the Senate.
Come on, guys. Support this dude, man.
Get this guy released, all right?
Yeah.
So much respect to Rudy. You've been doing it for many years, and we're here to fight with you. Everybody's with you, and including us here on the West Coast, too. So free Rudy. Let's just for while we're talking international news, I'll spare you guys the accents, but we're gonna go to Australia for a minute, Governor, and the psychedelic renaissance is seeing one of its first catalog collection of mushrooms from a specific country. And Australia's first legal collection of native magic mushrooms could provide medical options to treat severe depression, alcohol, drug addiction, and we've heard, all of the beneficial properties of the fungi. But the University of Queensland's mycologist and evolutionary biologist, listen to this name, Alistair McTaggart, has been given approval to collect the catalog of psilocybin mushrooms found growing in the Australian outback. So the federal government is investing a total of $15 million in grants to help the Queensland University in Australia lead research into the use of mushrooms, ecstasy, ketamine, and to combat issues such as PTSD, major depression, addiction, and eating disorders for me. Because, if you're telling me all I got to do is do a little acid and maybe I won't eat so much, I'd probably just eat more acid.
As long as you microdose, it's okay.
So psychedelic mushrooms are definitely taking off, McTaggart goes and talks about. And in America, we've streamlined the process for fast-tracking psilocybin treatments, and it's looking like, it won't be much longer, a matter of years, before this is an acceptable way of treating things in a clinical setting. But Australia, big ups to you for cataloging your own mushrooms, because just like the wine industry and cannabis, and you think of weed up in Humboldt, it's very geographical. And when you associate certain mushrooms and varieties of strains with certain areas, there's some monetary value to that, and there's some research value to that too. So that's a huge step in the right direction.
There's definitely both. It's amazing what they got going on over there. It's crazy because it's like people are they're following, but when they're following, they're trying to set the next trend or be the new pioneer for something else.
And every time we do that, we're learning more and more about it.
Absolutely,
so we're just scratching the surface of what can happen, and who knows, maybe there'll be some clinical treatments here in the future for depression based on cannabis. So not just on mushrooms, but cannabis too. So that goes into my final, our final topic of the night, and that's that the DEA is proposing an increase in people to grow cannabis and mushrooms for research purposes. So if you were looking for a gig and you don't mind working with the motherfucking government,
hit them right up.
The DEA is proposing
work for the man. Why not?
A huge investment with the intent of aiding the development of new federally approved therapeutic medication.
Whoa.
So in a notice set out by the Federal Registry on Thursday, the DEA said that it's a significant increase in manufacturing of Schedule I substances like psilocybin mushrooms, marijuana, and they misspelled marijuana here. That's great. They threw an H in there with no J. Just marijuana. And
we know what they're talking about.
And then they go on to say that the DEA, this is a quote from the DEA, DEA firmly believes, let me do my DEA voice, the DEA firmly believes in supporting regulated research of Scheduled I controlled substances. Therefore, the aggregated production quota increases reflective of the need to fulfill research and their said development requirements and their production of new drug products. See, when you do that voice, you got to have a chin strap beard and a fucking mustache. But that's the news according to the Hydro Chef. And if you want your own chin strap beard or Hydro Chef mustache, you can go check out my Instagram. Tap in. We have Hydro stuff and facial accessories now for sale, because if you're a chef and you're like Rudy, you got to at least have tattoos, and if you're like me, you got to at least have a chin beard, chin strap.
Chin straps?
Medicated chin strap, adhesive chin straps.
It just
and
seeps into your skin?
Exactly. And then Rudy's going to be releasing his own hair products.
There you go.
So
CBD infused.
CBD infused hair products. So tap in. We have facial and body accessories. So that's a good start to the show today. That was the news. You can call in 562-653-0707. All you guys listening on YouTube. And my one listener on Instagram, you guys can type your comments into the comment section, and we'll be happy to ask Chef Rudy here. We'll put him through the gauntlet here. Coming back on DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. Hey, Saint, you got some new music to play for us from 5?
Yeah.
Ooh, represent the 562 then.
You know it, the same 562 right here with the song called Pull Up, featuring Wolfman the Boss. Just pull up.
What you gonna do? We just pull up anywhere as we want to. We just pull up anywhere where we want to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. Pull up anywhere as we want to. I pull up anywhere cause I want to. I'm turning up your party with the whole crew. If you are unaware, got my people all in here. We don't really care what you gon' do. Blowing loud in the air like we supposed to. Have a good time, what you gon' do? If you are unaware, you have nothing to fear. Here's a good vibe, what you gon' do? We pull up anywhere as we want to. We just turning up the party like we supposed to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. Have a good time is what you gonna do. We just pull up anywhere as we want to. We just pull up anywhere where we want to. If you are unaware, my people do not care. We just pull up anywhere where we want to.
Pull up. We getting lit. Look at my wrist. Look at my bitch. About to cook up. We got what you need. We got all them trees. Yeah. The old low is extinct. New low on them bees. Yeah. We smoking that hash bar. Thought I told you. Growing money over here for the whole crew. Got honeys over here. We really do not care. We just pull up to the party. Bring that drove through.
We pull up anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. We pull up. The same 562 right here, featuring Wolfman the Boss. Call in right now, 562-653-0707. That's 562-653-0707 to holla at the chefs right here in studio. We'll be right back. dfzradio.com. Farm to Table Cannabis will be back after these messages.
dfzradio.com.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bringing the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits using Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor in fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
dfzradio.com.
This a Young Ill production.
Perp got me fired up. It got me fired up. Kush got me fired up. It got me fired up. Dooney. Perp got me gone. I don't know what's on my mind. Ain't no way I'm coming down. Where you at? I'm on cloud 9 and I'm fucked up. Yeah, you know I'm out my brain.
We're back. DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. Welcome to the pop-up. We got Chef Rudy over here, flipping the wrist, whipping it up. About to cook us up some good stuff.
Hey.
And like
we out here.
Like I was just saying, Rudy, it's been a wild couple of fucking weeks. I feel like we've been in like some Groundhog Day shit. It's like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. It's like we ain't going nowhere, but we ain't standing still at the same time either.
We ain't in the same place.
So it's a weird one. We haven't had you in the studio since before the pandemic. And then the pandemic kind of slowed everything down, but now we got you back up in the mix. And fucking, it's not just cannabis now. It's like you gotta do fucking psychedelic cuisine. Now you gotta know to infuse
These are facts. You know, the requests now are starting to get more outlandish, I guess you could say, because the mushrooms are here. You know, it was said maybe like a year or two ago. It was the next thing, and it is now. It is. You know what I mean? The mushrooms, the psychedelics, the microdosing, the edibles with mushrooms in it, it's everywhere now. I mean, at least here in California.
Right.
You know, everyone looking in out of state is always behind a little. So, you know, they're playing the catch up, like we were saying about the laws and regulations and whatnot.
California is unique because it has not just one city like some states. Like Denver has like the only state in Colorado you can have mushrooms in.
Mm-hmm.
California has several cities where psilocybin and psychedelic treatments are available, and you can have private events and actually host events and cook with it. So this is a new area that I haven't really navigated myself. I don't know how many psychedelic dinner parties you've been involved with yet, but it's
Do they even eat?
Well, that's the thing. I think microdosing is a huge thing, whether it's in cannabis consumption, CBD consumption, or psychedelic consumption. You always take baby steps. So I would imagine, let's walk ourselves.
You always take baby. Come on now. The very first time you shroomed, they told you to take an eighth.
It's an eighth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that.
Come on.
You're right.
You know these are facts. Like anyone my age, I'm 42 years old. You know, when the first, like maybe you guys baby boomers, you guys new kids around the block, whatever, you guys are microdosing now, but that was unheard of in the 90s,
and even
in
then,
the 80s.
You would be eating it, and 30 minutes later, you're cussing out the guy that sold it to you, and he's telling you, dude, Rudy, calm down. Rudy, wait 30 minutes, and 30 minutes later, you're having a fucking transfound experience. But yes, I agree with you. The only way to do it right your first time is to really fully dose. But with the microdosing being such a factor now and having to be around multiple people at these dinner events, I assume that when you would go into one of these things, it would have to be focused around microdosing.
I mean, I agree with you. You know, like I myself, I put myself on a regimen usually every 2-3 months of a microdosing. I'll microdose maybe for like anywhere from 3 days to a week.
Straight.
And just straight, just a little, you know, I'll start with probably like a 1/4 gram and then move on up every day. Some people say, oh, don't shroom 2 days in a row. Like, I don't believe in that. Like, really, for me, I seek out the therapeutic factor in shrooms and psychedelics. So, like, I really like to put myself on a microdosing regimen. And I'm always like after that little regimen, I'm cleansed, I'm clear, and I'm ready to.
So
do
what? Just better thinking, you feel like, or do you get along with your family better? Like what would you say some of the benefits you've experienced your personal? Because I didn't think we were going to go down this road. I thought we were going to be talking about food and how competitive the fucking chef game is, and how many people just are out there trying to make it and hack it.
We can get there, but I mean, if we're gonna talk what's in the now. Mushrooms is where it's at. It's like it's the topic of a lot of conversations, and at every cannabis to make a cannabis event interesting, it seems here in California, is mushrooms. Somebody busts out some shrooms and everyone's face will just light up. You know what I'm saying? And
that's cool because it used to be cocaine in LA. So it's nice to see that we're making. It's nice to see that we're making a different progress. We're making a different progress, and we're going natural.
Hey, but
for some people,
coke is still in though, isn't it?
I mean, it seems to be a very
not in my circle, but I'm told it's still in.
It's still very. I think they would say very LA. But on some of these edible experiences when you're dosing with mushrooms and stuff. What would be some of the benefits you would feel from microdosing for 3 or 4 days straight? Let's say, and I'm gonna paint a picture for you. I'm going in, a stressful week, too much business on my plate, feeling like I barely got through the week, and I just need to relax, and I don't want to drink. What is the mushrooms gonna help me feel like after a couple days dosing straight that you wouldn't feel like if you just fucking drank liquor 4 days straight?
Yeah. Number one, you don't have the recoup from like you would from alcohol. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the. I was just saying that last night to somebody. That's why I don't really like to drink or use like party drugs, because there's a recoup time for that. And with mushrooms,
nobody got time to be down right now.
Yeah, I don't feel like mushrooms. You have to have like 2 days to to get back to yourself. I feel like you can already get to go into the very next day, even the same day, especially if you're microdosing. And it's for me, it's like a refocus kind of thing. You know what I mean? It brings to light the things that matter, right? And all the bullshit, it just fucking clears that shit away and just kind of tells me, yeah, don't worry about this and that. This is what you need to worry about. This is what you need to focus on. And that's why I personally use it myself, and it just clears my mind and releases all that bad that's inside.
Yeah, because, in this industry, a lot of that shit gets pent up in you. It's not something you should hold around. And
mental health is fucking a real thing,
and
bro.
it's so underlooked in this side of things too. Everyone looks at this culture and this counterculture that is the industry.
It's a party drug. It's recreational.
And work isn't work to them. They think every day's a party, But there's a lot of stresses that go into this. A lot of relationships, a lot of promises you got to make, and when times get bad, we look like rock stars when things are good, but things are kind of rough right now. The industry's hurting. There's a lot of overproduced cannabis. The people are eating less off their packs than they ever were. So it's like,
and the things we do in the background, just nobody realizes the work that we put in. Especially a person like you. For instance, like you've made this move to Long Beach from Cerritos, and like I see that you're growing. You know, it's fucking. This is amazing. You and Sane are still together. To be able to sustain a relationship like that just says what kind of person that you really are.
Well, pause. We broke up for a couple months there, and he was seeing some chick for a minute. But we're back in the arena.
He started bringing me Juicy Hazes.
Juicy Hazes.
Hey, but you know what, though? It's all love at the end of the day. That shit don't matter. It's part of the growth, right? You know? So
with the mushrooms, it's a growth for people too. Learning how to incorporate that into your life. Dosing for everyone isn't going to be necessarily the key to your mental salvation, but the mental health part of it, I think it's a great start, thinking outside the box.
And the thing is too, like when it comes to cannabis, so like what you got right now is a lot of people who are getting, cannabis is legal. No, I want to try it. But they remember their worst experience on cannabis, right? Like, I got too high, I fell asleep, or I didn't talk to nobody, I was just sitting in the corner. Then be like, well,
God,
maybe
I wish I could get that high again.
But I'm saying maybe you smoke too much, you overdose. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe indica is not for you. It's just like, it's just like you have to have a different approach to it, a different mindset, because you know what? When you were doing it before, there was really no readily available information for you to research. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, if you want to use marijuana, there's different reasons why. You just don't use it just because.
There's safe places to do it. It needs to be like that with psychedelics.
Safe places to buy it, safe people informing you about the goods and the bads of what you're taking. And eventually, like right now, the sessions used to be cannabis. If you go to a sesh right now, almost every vendor has mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? And so pretty soon there's going to be trap fucking mushroom shops, just like there was trap cannabis shops. It's going to be the next fucking
more
thing.
and more socially acceptable and more hard to regulate, which means they will eventually legalize it because it's impossible to regulate the black market.
The more people realize that it's not a fucking drug and that it's actually helping people, just like, the stigma that they attach to cannabis and to, I guess, maybe even ketamine. You know what I mean? I'm hearing that the research with depression on that is like a real thing. So,
and DMT and what did they say? Ecstasy for end of life experiences too. These are compounds that are already in our body. A lot of these compounds are triggered by crazy events or end of life or depression.
Do your research, guys. Research.
And that's why when we talk about this, we don't just want to scratch the surface. We want to dive in. And I wouldn't be the type of person sitting here talking about mushrooms and microdose. And if I had microdose myself, but when we talk about the DMT, it's the same situation, which is why we brought the pen today, and we like to offer Rudy a little peek into the game.
Hold on, let me get my phone. I'm about to play some roulette. Let me get this.
Because basically,
what are we gonna do right now, Chef?
Anything worth doing is worth doing right, and this is a little game we like to play on DFZ Radio called Pen Roulette.
What are they
and
got
one
me
of these
doing
pens,
here?
We've got some regular old distillate, some cannabis, THC, and the other one we have DMT.
Oh,
you don't know which pen.
I don't know if I want that
you
one.
don't know which pen you're gonna get. You just grab one pen and then you grab it and you hit it, and I don't know. Maybe sometimes you just hit both pens. You don't know what you're gonna get. So, Chef and Rudy are gonna be back in a few minutes. We're gonna take a commercial break. I'm gonna come out of this DMT hole. And we'll be back. Farm to Table Cannabis, DMT.com.
Farm to Table, Chef, Hydro Chef, what?
It tastes like glass.
I've been up for like 6 days. No, I wasn't on cocaine. I'm just trying not to stress, man. Cause life be hella one bitch, man. Like, I just need a little smoke. How I go from being broke to fucking and freaking and jigging the bitch and telling me she love herself to get choked. I'm not the one for them pills. Most of y'all be cheap thrills. I'd rather be pouring and popping and mixing that juice, that ice stuff from that seal. Smoke in my lungs make it all better. I will OD with weed and die never. Smoky wherever, any endeavor. I'll smoke whoever, I stay high forever. Now the roof's gone. I've been taking so many drugs, what are you on? Used to hate me, now they wanna play me, my songs. And I don't think they will understand. Working hard like a businessman to have the things that I never had. I went through some lessons on lessons. I put in that work, now it's blessings on blessings. Like nothing can stop me, like Iron Man armies. I keep that shit on me, just telling you, homie, I'ma get me what I deserve. While I drive with a little swerve, with a fogged out car while I'm smoking the bomb, getting top driving in reverse. Gotta pay all the haters, no mind, ain't waiting until I get signed. After the money, while you acting funny, be calling and wasting my time. Gotta pay all the haters, no mind, ain't waiting until I get signed. After the money, while you acting funny, be calling and wasting my time. Now the roof's gone. I've been taking so many drugs, what are you on? Used to hate me, now they wanna play me, my songs. And I don't think they will understand. Working hard like a businessman to have the things that I never had. Gone. I've been taking so many drugs, what are you on?
All right, I'm back, but I'm only halfway here. So just give it a minute, and me and Rudy are going to get into it. We got a couple of ideas of what he's been doing in his downtime, but let's really find out what's going on. So everybody, let's welcome back to the show none other than Chef Rudy from Cannabis Catered Events. Rudy's been doing it for a minute now, and he's got a nice flair to his cuisine. He's definitely representing. He's doing the Filipino food too, whenever possible. But it's his medicated techniques that goes into it that kind of separates him and his events and his ability to get in where he fits in. So let's talk about that, Rudy. When it comes to like representing your culture and the cuisine and the shit you grew up on, man, what are your go-to dishes right now? And I mean, I know Filipino food right now seems like it's hotter than ever too. So I mean, you've positioned yourself to be here to capitalize on some of it. So what are you cooking? What's on the CCE menu?
Yeah. Well, I've always advocated the Filipino fusion. If I can throw that in there somehow, some way. So with the lumpia, with the pancit is basically the those are the staples of Filipino food. Adobo, my chicken adobo, taco. But really, when it comes to the flair and the more how can you say this, the gamey shit, the things that are a little bit more
technical,
risky, a little bit more risky, I guess you could say. So like the dinuguan, what is that? That's the Filipino blood. I mean the pig blood.
Okay.
Right.
Like pork sausage, but pig blood.
Yes, but so it's a stew. You know what I mean? With made with the pork, right? The pork butt, pork shoulder, and then you chop up some of the face, the ear, right? The nose. Chop that up, so you got a little bit of that crunch, that little texture from the. So
you get the crunchiness from the outside of the skin.
Yes.
Then you're getting the soupiness, almost like a roast.
You also have that cartilage bone in the face. So like there's a layer of the fatty of the skin, and then that little white bone. That's a really thin layer. So that you get that little crunch from that, and then the flavor from the skin, and then the pork blood. It's just, I mean. For
who did you grow up in the kitchen in your family with that was teaching you how to like cut face off pigs and shit?
Well, I mean, these are our authentic fucking dishes. You know what I'm saying? Dinuguan, which we call which is known as chocolate meat or
dessert meat, basically.
No, basically it's not dessert. It's savory, but we call it chocolate meat. Just to kind of like for the outsiders, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, let's say like my brother's family, and his wife is Mexican, and so all of them at a birthday, they tasted this. So there's this thing. It's a rice cake called puto, right? And you eat that with dinuguan. So
Saint, calm down, fool. Saint, chill, bro.
So
damn, he's over here set tripping and shit, thinking we about to have a Mexican Filipino war and shit.
So this rice bread is called puto. And then you break a piece of that and you dip it in the dinuguan, and it's fire. And like my brother's in-laws were all eating this shit, and then when I told them what it was, they were like. Their eyes all got big, and they're like, "No, you're kidding, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm serious." And then they're like, they were like, they liked it up to till I told them what it was. Right. You know what I mean? But before that, they were all eating it. They loved how it tastes until I told them what it was, and then they were all like, "This is gross." You know what I mean? But like, how is that when you were eating and it was good? But I tell you that it's blood, and the Spaniards. Some Mexicans have the same dish, the blood sausage, like you said, and they have that in Mexico because the Spaniards took over Mexico just like they did the Philippines. So,
they're very, very Spanish influenced food when it comes to both the Filipino food, but then you also do some really unique noodle dishes I've seen, and I mean I don't know if it's rice noodles or what the noodles is. But I mean, don't make me get Chef Val on the phone. Will you lace my tennis shoes? What are some of those Filipino noodle dishes?
So we got basically the Philippines, because we're right next to China. We're right under China and Thailand. We're in the people say we're not Asian, but we're in the Pacific. We're in the South Pacific, right? South Asian Pacific, and basically Southeast Asia. And we have a lot of Chinese influence. So our noodles. It doesn't taste like chow mein, but it looks like chow mein. So we got pancit, and then we got pancit bihon. We got different versions of this pancit. And so there's like 5-6 different versions of it. And I can cook 3 of them. The other 3, it's like really not my style. I don't really fuck with it like that. And then we got a lot of also Indian influence, right? So like, because India is in Asia as well.
So a lot of curry spices and shit
yes.
like that.
So we got some of those things going on. And then we're right next to Indonesia and Malaysia. So like we got a lot of similar foods to them as well, and
so is it like with like, and forgive my ignorance, is it like with Italian food where there's like Southern Filipino food, Northern Filipino food, more of like the capital style?
So the Philippines has over 7,000 islands. So when you're saying south, east, motherfucker, it's like island 103.
Island 103 might do rice a little bit different than island.
Their version of adobo is not like the adobo in island 3,000. You know what I mean? It's just because they had different ingredients available, so they cook it differently. And that's why Filipino food doesn't really take off, because when you go to a restaurant, it's not always the same. You don't know what to order, or you order something that you had but it don't taste.
And that's funny because I think it is taking off right now, but it took a little bit for everyone to realize, like, hey motherfucker, did you know that Filipino food got empanadas too?
Yeah.
And that you can get what is that shit, goddamn tocino tacos?
Yep.
Tocino tacos, that's like
that's
like
fucking
adobo
fire.
that's like adobo pork that you get at the fucking taqueria.
But it's a little bit sweeter. So like Philippines like sweet shit. So our spaghetti is sweet. You know what I mean?
Sugar cane.
Brown sugar cane, and coconut milk. You know what I'm saying? I like to use honey instead of sugar as much as I can. So
we're trying to stay healthy around here.
Yeah. So if I could throw in the honey. I try not to, even though I'm sponsored through Magical Butter, I don't really like to use butter. I'd rather make an oil, So some coconut oil, some olive oil, even sesame oil. It doesn't
What
really
do you
matter.
think about all these haters lately that've been hating on the vegetable oil, man? People say that because I love doing vegetable oil infusions and making dressings out of vegetable oil, and now I got like haters in the DMs like, oh, I can't believe you, chef, you use vegetable oil. Don't you know how bad that is for you? What's your thought on vegetable oil? And his whole thing, he tried to hit me with some Monsanto shit, of course, but I dodged that bullet and said, what other conspiracy theories do you have to hate on vegetable oil? And they felt it was just an inferior oil. Not that it had, trace elements of weed killer in it or some shit. It was just some fucking off the wild shit that it wasn't quality. Vegetable oil is used in all Asian cooking.
Here's the thing, sometimes it's labeled olive oil, but it's not really olive oil. So
hey, ain't that a bitch too? So I think whatever place you're going with got to be a reputable input, though. But I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. So unless you do that, you don't really know what the hell you got. So get out of here with that argument. You know what I mean? It's just like oil is oil is oil. As long as you know what kind of product you're using to infuse that oil, I think that's what's really important. What do you think, Chef?
Well, I mean, it depends on the quality of the oil that you're putting in, and vegetable oil can be produced from very different sources. It can be cottonseed oil. It could be, it could be a lot of different oils.
It depends what you're trying to do too. So like, I don't really cook or saute with olive oil. You know what I mean? I would rather use a vegetable oil.
I would like something that takes higher temperatures, right?
Yes.
Olive oil burns at a low temperature.
At a low temperature.
Grapeseed oil, avocado oil, vegetable oil. Is that not vegetable oil? Let's take the caller real quick.
Peanut oil.
And we're going to see what the caller's got a question about. Maybe they're on this oil trip too. Caller, where are you calling in from?
Eric,
where?
Miami, baby. What's up?
What's up, Eric? Thanks for calling in from Miami.
MIA.
You called to talk to Chef Rudy. You going to put us through the gauntlet? You got a question for us?
Yeah, I got a question for you. Hey, Chef. What's up? It's El Chino Loco 305 from Instagram.
Hey, what's going on, man? That's my guy right there. He been following up on me, and I appreciate
That's right,
you, bro.
Man. I've been supporting.
What's the Filipino food like out in the MIA?
That's one that doesn't really make the rounds in South Florida, to be honest.
Ooh, I smell a Filipino pop up on the East Coast and the South.
I mean,
Yeah, we're definitely missing that cuisine out here.
the Magical Butter headquarters is in Tampa Bay, so.
Well, I know for sure they had some Filipino food down there because you went and cooked at the Magic Butter at the Magic Butter Studios, so you know there was at least a little influence. You put a little Filipino in them.
Yeah, that's what they had me made. They were like, we want this and that. I'm like, okay, I got you. No trip,
Yeah, it's like tacos on the East Coast. It's just not the same.
You just don't see it, right? So what's up, Eric? What you got going on, man? You gonna harass us a little bit and ask us some cooking techniques?
Well, actually, I have a very specific question, and it has to do with microdosing. So when do you decide how to choose, how to select when you're going to microdose or actually infuse one of the ingredients?
And just so we're on the same page, you're talking about cannabis today, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool, because we've been getting crazy questions about microdosing everything now lately, Yeah, I wanted to know how to microdose bath salts in my bathtub.
You want to take this, Chef, or you want me to
go
answer?
ahead. You're the guest.
Well, first and foremost, like for me personally, because I do a lot of events and I'm usually cooking for some clients, so my microdosing, it would be based on what the client's wants and needs are first, and if it's for recreational, still, I feel like I'm a bartender, so I want to make sure that everybody that partakes in the edibles that I make can drive home. So, maybe if they eat more, then they'll get more fucked up. But I don't want them to be totally baked off of one or two pieces of whatever I made. So,
I don't know if there's a number that's right that would be a good answer to this, but I think 10 milligrams is too high to start. You need to start in a lower area.
I like 2.5, Chef. 2 to 3 milligrams. That's a really safe area.
Because we had Black Market in the studio last week. That motherfucker, he was almost blacked out off 160 milligrams. He had too many of them cookies.
I'm known to take 1,000 milligrams, Chef. You know what I mean? It's just but if it's clean edibles, I can function properly, but if sometimes you get them bootleg shit, Chef, and I've gotten sick. I mean, edible overdose is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can happen to the best of them too. I'll be sitting there, a couple milligrams deep, and then next thing you know, I had too many cookies. I'm asking my wife to call the goddamn ambulance. Please call somebody. Call somebody. I don't know. My heart's gonna pound out of my chest.
I've been there, Chef. You're holding your heart, and you're like taking deep breaths.
But really, I know it sounds crazy, but it's at that moment. It's that moment you talk yourself down. You have some CBD.
Yes,
you puff
CBD.
your CBD.
This is crucial, folks.
It helps
when you guys get too high off of edibles, off of dabs, even just some weed, take some fucking CBD, bro.
It just kind of mellows you out and helps the anxiety aspect of it. It's not like it's counter-dosing it completely.
I mean, I've seen people where they try it and it completely goes away right away, and with some people it takes time, So everyone's different.
So, Chef, MIA, you doing any events coming up lately? What's the scene like for you out there?
Right when COVID started last year, I did have a small event pop off, but I've been doing mostly things privately at my house. So now that the season's starting to pick up again, I may start to re-enter into catering, but for right now, I'm only doing private consulting.
So, Eric, I know that it's not legal out there. How are you, how are you maneuvering around this? Are you just throwing the dice out there, or do you have a method to your madness?
Up until this point, it's been private parties. But in order to market myself, I've had to include some CBD products. So marketing myself as a CBD caterer has been the extent of my, limit where I want to reach my market. Because advertising in a medical only state, I don't want to overreach and get too out of control.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with navigating the black market scene and the private event scene, because the private event scene is really where it's at right now in California. Mm-hmm. I mean, Rudy and I both know from personal experience, if we were to advertise on the non-infused market, we'll put it like this: nobody gave a fuck about my food until I put weed in it. All right, and the more private events I did, the more people were responding to that shit.
I got something to add to that, Chef. So, I'm Filipino, and my mom was like, I used to tell her, I'm a cannabis chef now. And she's like, oh, no, right? And then, like, she would go as far as, like, I'd go see her and shit, and then we'd go visit her, and then when we're leaving, son, I always pray that you get a job just as a chef without the cannabis, That way, you're not doing no bad. And then I'm like, but Mom, the cannabis is what, that's what makes me pop. That's why they hire me, And then she was like, but it's bad, son. And, and then I got on the Filipino channel and BBC.
Well, let's go down the list. Chanel West Coast. Yeah. You worked with some of the top celebrities in the fucking Los Angeles area, cooking for people that otherwise would never have even known the name Cannabis Catered Events if you didn't put it would have just been Catered Events without the CCE. Yeah. It would have just been CE.
Exactly. So, like, but now my mom is like, oh, my son is the cannabis chef. Bro, like he was on the Filipino channel. You can look it up. TFC.
Hey, proud as shit now. Hey, went from everything you do is wrong to go get it, mijo.
You know what I mean? And then now she sees me smoking my weed, because my pops passed away during COVID, and I moved my mom in, and so she's been witnessing my habits and shit. We go on the balcony and smoke, and she's just like, I hear her on the phone, yeah, he's taking his medicine. That's
right.
She'd be on the phone with my sister.
Telling people, hey, he's on his medicine.
Because he's like, hey, your son is coughing a lot. Does he have COVID?
Nah, he's lit as shit.
Right.
He's a cannabis chef.
Yeah, so,
Eric, it's awesome that you call in. We're going to expect you to follow up with us, keep us updated on your events. We want to make sure we promote and put a spotlight on you. You good enough to call in. It's the least we can do for you.
Definitely, awesome, we'll be keeping tabs on you, bro, and give you a follow if I'm not. And, yeah, bro, just do you. If you have any questions, hit me up, bro, on a DM. I'm very good with my correspondence. You don't got to be somebody. Anybody who hits me up, I respond back. So,
For sure, man.
Well, Eric, hey, that's it. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about what the upcoming events Rudy's got going on, what we can expect to see him, and where else you can try some of his cuisine. DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis.
You're coming back.
CCE in the studio.
Let me give one shout-out to my little cousin. He's out there in L.A., so if you see him, it's Jet Li.
Jet Li.
24/7.
Shout out to Jet Li.
24/7. dfzradio.com. Stay high.
Ay, I want a lot of things in this life. I want some things money can't buy. Like a girl who gon' keep it solid. Yeah. Like a girl who gon' need me one who gon' hold it down when I'm in a drought. Need me one who gon' get this cash when I'm running out. I need me one who gon' love this life I'm living with no problem. Hoes talking down, been my baby. Got 'em, blah. Need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one who gon' hold it down, who gon' keep it real, who gon' roll my blunts when this shit get real. Yeah, 2-5 can't think I'm gone off loud. Top shelf moon rock, she keep loud. Snapchat booming, got the hating hoes trolling. Out in public, she wrap around my ridges like a rolling. Rolling and dough, that's what she do on the low. That's what she do when she high. When I need it, she provide. When I'm sober, she supply. Half an ounce to get me by. Double that up and I'm making money on the side. Break her up before I slide like.
Put that on my dead homie. She ride for me more than the homies. Know I got dreams. I'm living in cars, but she don't look at me like I am homeless. She look at me like I'm a star. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what I am. Damn, girl, you're so real. Need me one who gon' hold it down when I'm in a drought. Need me one who gon' get this cash when I'm running out. I need me one who gon' love this life I'm living with no problem. Hoes talking down, been my baby. Got 'em, bah. Need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one who gon' hold it down, who gon' keep it real, who gon' roll my blunts when this shit get real. Yeah. Need me one who always keep it solid, always keep it loyal, always gon' pick up when I call her, always on the go. Gotta get that dough, talking about that bread when I'm feeling low. She gon' come, talk me off the ledge. Always on time moving slow when I'm with you. I respect your grind, cause you always look out for your boo. And you hold me down, yeah, when I'm up, yeah. If I fall, can you be my crush? You so clutch. It's some real shit I gotta tell you. Like, you the one I want, you the one I need, you the one I see at the other end of my wet dream. Like, spec. Need me one who gon' hold it down when I'm in a drought. Need me one who gon' get this cash when I'm running out. I need me one who gon' love this life I'm living with no problem. Hoes talking down, been my baby. Got 'em, bah. Need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one who gon' hold it down, who gon' keep it real, who gon' roll my blunts when this shit get real. Yeah.
All right, we're back at everyone's favorite game show. This is Dab Pen Roulette. In my hand,
Dab Pen Roulette.
we have two ordinary-looking dab pens, one which contains THC and CBD, and the other one which contains DMT, a life-altering substance that when inhaled, you may talk to God. Up first is our contestant, coming out of the 909 himself. Everybody welcome Chef Rudy. Hey. Chef Rudy is a part-time cannabis chef and also an all-around family man. His hobbies include psychedelic drug use, cannabis cuisine, and keeping it real. Rudy, thanks for coming on Pen Roulette today. I'm your host, the Hydro Chef. Just wanted to know if you had to take a number between 1 and 5, what would it be?
I'm going to go with 3.
3? All right. 1, 2, 3. Pick a hand, left or right.
Why don't you just hand both to me?
Ho-ho! We've got the Daily Double. The Daily Double consists of a nice dose of the whole fucking alphabet. DMT, CBD, THC. Rudy, as your attorney, I advise you to take 2 puffs out of that, sit back, talk to the aliens, and then we'll conduct the interview after that. You know what they say? Buy the ticket, take the ride. That's our motto here at Pen Roulette.
So I just took some DMT and some cannabis.
Same time?
At the same fucking time.
And I'll be back.
I'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
So now we're going to put him through.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, now we're going to put him through the gauntlet because it's very mild. But, Rude, you know, when it talks about the upcoming events and we were talking about everything that COVID has put this industry through, you know, what is your preferred method of holding an event now with COVID? You know, I know everything makes it a little bit difficult. We've got to take proper safety concerns into effect. But if you're still following me, I'm kind of just talking now to see if you're paying attention. But no, seriously, what kind of new procedures have you had to implement now at some of these private events?
I'm still here, Chef.
You there?
What have you had to do to make these private events work during this lockdown?
So, quite honestly, I personally have not thrown any events. Now, people have, seeked me out to do events for them, like I did Christian Isaiah's 13th birthday party during COVID.
Very private, no DMT involved.
No DMT involved. It was just his close friends. We had a check-in nurse. We practiced as much, as best as we could with the precautions that they have in place. And, we did social distancing, the mask. We had fucking alcohol and hand sanitizer all over the place. And at the end of the day, the kids had a good time, for COVID. He said it was a really great birthday. and that's pretty much what I've been doing all during COVID. It's just little private events here and there. With celebrities and with people who hit me up on Instagram and through the website for like their anniversaries. I actually did like a private wedding ceremony. It was like really small and intimate, like 12 people.
More and more people are getting into the weddings and the cannabis-infused weddings and cannabis-infused ceremonies. And, I mean, what do you think about the cannabis-infused bar mitzvah? No, I'm just joking. Cannabis-infused quinceañera? No. Okay, cannabis-infused baptisms. That's the only way to go. Everyone
CBD
at the place,
water?
Everyone else is medicated
CBD
except the
alkaline
baby.
water? You know what I mean? Holy
There's usually only one baby. I mean, it's like, dude, it's like fucking, it's like a Deadhead concert. There's always one baby.
Christian baptisms sometimes have like a few, lined up. You know what I mean?
It's so true, dude. I was at the Bob Marley concert.
Just a lady
and they're
full
just
fucking
baby.
dreadlocks nursing a kid in the middle of a fucking smoke
I'm in
circle.
outer space, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted you guys to know this. I'm here, but I'm not.
But I mean, that's the fucking great thing about this community.
He'll be back soon.
They're so welcoming when you put yourself out there as a cannabis chef. Like very minimal advertisement can go into getting a really solid event. And I think Rudy, you're a testament to that. Rudy, you've done a lot of events from the pop-ups at the Hitman shop, and we really hope Hitman comes back and lets some cooking events happen to all to the Chanel West Coast, to your own cannabis catered event pop-ups. I mean, dude, this has been an evolution of the private dining experience, and it's not just food; it's a moment that you're putting together. We talked about when we were off the air. You've had singing sensations like Jay Lynn come on. You've discovered people. You've helped people further their career in some of it. You've ended some careers for some of them.
Shit.
And but think about it.
Where you at, Chef Jay?
It's been the Janky Will experience.
Janky Will experience.
Oh God,
he's still going, but
he's putting along. But we won't even give no free press, free press.
Right.
But it's been an evolution. So Rudy, talk about that. What's gone into the evolution of making each event better?
Well, that goes back to day one, like when we threw bites. Anything that you were a part of, I think if you remember from the early days, is that I wanted the chefs and the cuisine to be the focus of our events, not the cannabis. Remember that?
Cannabis is a side part of it.
It was just a part of the event. You know what I'm saying? It was not like the catalyst. Like a lot of times, at the cannabis events, it was focused on the community and the product that's out there, and I feel like we were just like a side note. So like I wanted us to come together. Hey, let's do some bites. It's about the chefs and this and that, and I kind of like that's where that comes from, And matter of fact, we're doing a bites October 3rd, Chef.
Whoa, it's happening a month away.
Yes, I have not told anybody about this, but I guess this is the best platform to say it, right?
What's the only platform? High Times TV, dfzradio.
Right. Nobody's really listening.
We're your podcast. We're your podcast favorite podcast.
So October 3rd, we're gonna do the launch for Allen Iverson's strain with Viola, Al Harrington brand.
So Al Harrington's bringing in Allen Iverson.
Yes, sir.
Al and Al start a cannabis company. Sounds like a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, so Allen Iverson is having his own exclusive strain, and that's going to launch at the Jade Room in Santa Ana. They're the only ones who are going to carry it. Jade Room, Santa Ana. Only people are going to carry this strain for Allen Iverson. And I'm doing the launch party for this October 3rd. Is a Sunday. And at this launch event, we will be doing bites, Chef.
That's sick. Yeah. So is the weed called the answer or what? Because if it's not, that was a really missed opportunity.
You guys are going to have to come in and see.
That's it. So come on down to the dispensary in Santa Ana.
I can't say everything.
He's like, no free press. I don't get paid by Al Harrington.
I'm in outer space, but you're not going to squeeze every fucking thing out of me.
He's like, dude, you give me a hit of some fucking psychedelics, and then you make me start answering fucking questions about fucking food and celebrities.
Trying to show me up with a double hit. You know what I mean? So I had to do it too. That's why I chose to do that.
And
shit.
that's one thing
That's
too,
true.
Rudy. Don't misjudge Rudy by his stature, motherfucker. He hang with the big dog.
You know,
he be
they
hanging
see
with
the
big
slanted eyes. They're like, this motherfucker can't smoke. You know, this motherfucker can't do that.
He's like, that's my secret. I'm always high.
And I don't even drink, and I'm drinking right now. You know what I mean?
Well, cheers. We
Shit.
appreciate you spending a little bit of your Wednesday evening with us in the kitchen. And I'm looking forward for a chance to be cooking in the kitchen with you again. We're going to be giving a shout out here to all the people that laid the foundation for us to be cooking here before us. Shout out to all the homies that were cooking before Cooking with Cannabis was cool. Fucking.
We really didn't have no mentors or people to look up to.
There's a lot of fucking hate in this industry, Rudy. You know it because people don't want to see us succeed. They don't want to see each other succeed. And I think as the industry evolved, I think we started to be able to celebrate people who initially said it. And they initially did it, like the Chef Freds of the industry.
Yes, Chef
the
Fred.
You Chef Val. You know,
Chef Val,
she was one of the very first
chef,
ones
yes.
out there cannabis cooking with stuff, before you could talk about it, and so we want to give a shout out to the peers, but also like, hey, there's a new team in town that have been elevating their cuisine, and the new generation is coming up in this culture, and you've got to be trained now. Mediocrity will no longer be accepted.
You know what, Chef? I used to that used to be the thing that I say. I embrace my rawness because I never went to school, and I'm not traditionally trained. And you know what? For the most part, it's true. I did like that aspect of me, and I really learned to use that as my strength instead of my weakness. And I've been in competitions with you where you've kicked my ass, and
very close competitions.
But what I'm saying is that the training part comes into play where I'm like, that's the advantage that they have over me because I don't have that. I'm not fundamentally sound like they are.
But the more events you do, the more confidence you get in front of people. I think that's a hidden tool that people are used to cooking in the kitchen. People aren't used to cooking in front of people competitively. It's a whole
true. This is true. And
everyone's got an idea until they get cooked in the mouth.
And when all is said and done, I know that the product, it's going to be there. Maybe it doesn't look like yours, or maybe I didn't cut it as nice as you did or as fast as you did. But at the end of the day, although my methods are unorthodox, I'm still going to have a product that's just as good as yours, if not better.
And well, let's talk about what some of those unorthodox techniques have led you to, because you've recently been on some network shows and some, a lot of very many apply, few are chosen.
As I was saying, so I embraced that part right now. But since I was on this fucking cooking show against fucking Chef Chris Benotto from Chopped 420, Brandon Lachey from Chopped 420, and Joel Dave Miller from fucking where is this? He's been on every fucking cooking show you can think of. Guys Grocery Game, Hell's Kitchen. I mean, you name it. He's
so you're
been
out
on
there
it.
rubbing elbows in competition with real motherfucking competitors.
Man, I like.
Is that
You don't even know how. If I was intimidated going up against fucking Hydro Chef and Chef Layla and Chef fucking Sus, man, you don't even know. Like, I'm sitting in a room with these chefs, and I'm looking them up as like, we're about to go on the show.
Worst thing you could do is look up their shit. Yeah,
that's the worst thing you can do, but that's what I'm doing, Chef. Because
he wants to know his competition. He's looking at it like a fucking assassin.
I want to know what I'm going up against, and I'm like, I already know Chris Benotto. He's done fucking like a handful of that other guy's cannabis dinners, you know what I mean?
The other guy.
The other guy, so I know him, and I've actually sous chefed for him and helped out with like 2 of his events.
So you've seen his technique, he's
oh yeah, and it's great. He's a good guy, and his food is even better than him, and that's saying a lot.
You can't say who won and stuff, but you can talk about how competitive it got.
You know what? I don't give a fuck. I'll say who won. What are they gonna do to me? Kick me off the show?
Oh my god!
I'm already on it. So at the end of the day, it came down to, the premise of the show, basically. Let's talk about that. So this is through Broken Lizards. Are you familiar with those guys? Yeah. They did Super Troopers and Beer Fest. And the Indian dude, Jay, the guy with the mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's the host of the show. So the name of the show is Potluck. Right? And what they do is they bring in 2 comedians, right, and they smoke weed. Jay smokes weed with the comedians. They smoke some weed, and then Jay shows them the virtual pantry. And the virtual pantry has all these ingredients that the comedians get to pick from,
for you
right?
to use.
So, for us to use. So they picked 2 ingredients, which was for the first round, it was bacon and Nutella. And so the three of us there's 3 of us on the show. Actually, Chris Bonotto, he wasn't even on the fucking show, bro. Like, he was a backup. And I was like, that's the backup?
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
hey,
shouldn't I be the backup?
Looking at Allen Iverson on the bench, like, whoa.
You know what I'm saying? So anyways,
feeling pretty good about yourself.
Hey,
because,
I mean,
but Rudy, that's the moment you realize you deserve to be there, bro. You deserve to be there.
You know what? And the whole cast was like, Rudy, you were one of our favorite, that's why you got casted, because you're one of our favorite ones. And I was like, really? What the fuck? Anyways, so then they get to smoke and they pick the Nutella and the bacon, and then there's I went up against Brandon. So I did a Nutella Elvis.
That's what's up, with pancakes and bananas and bacon.
With bacon, yeah, and then some peanut butter and shit.
Gotta have peanut butter to make it an Elvis.
Then I kind of sprinkled some Nestle Quick.
How'd you infuse it?
No infusion.
Oh, damn.
So there's
you're just getting them high. I mean, they're getting high.
So they get high,
them
right? So they get high, and then they get to taste the food after, right? So I won that round, right? And me and Joel, we moved forward, right? And then the next round, it was tater tots and pineapples.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah. So
that's a hard thing to fucking combo.
So I made like tater tot Hawaiian pizzas.
Boy, that's nice. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But Chef blew me out the fucking water.
What'd he do?
Honestly, I don't even know what it's called, but that shit was
He did some French shit.
Yeah, he did something really fancy. And he made a dessert. So he made like a dish, and he made a dessert. Showed me up like Hydro Chef did, and the fucking Calabasas fucking
my favorite memory though. My favorite memory is us not knowing each other. And competing in that event, you coming to my house and us driving there together, knowing we were gonna be, knowing we didn't know each other, and he's hella outgoing. Don't let this shy little fucking guy fool you. This fucking guy walks in like he's a fucking 10-foot tall fucking basketball player with the confidence of a fucking dude that can slam dunk. He's like, hey, we're in the same competition. Why don't we ride out there together? And I was just like taken back, like, damn,
I got Napoleon small dick syndrome. What can I say?
But he came correct. He went out there. And the Culinary Unicorn, she was out there. She was cooking. Chef Jay was out there. Like we had
Chelsea.
We had a good time with a lot of people. And you know what it was? It's the energy, and that's when I realized like, damn, the cooking with cannabis, and it's good people supporting good people, and that's when I realized, fuck, I can work with Rudy in a heartbeat. I could definitely work with Rudy.
And I said the same thing, and that's why I brought in Chef to do one of my big events that I did in 2019, Vendor Highlights. He was my main chef for that. We did 5 courses. And
shout out to all the chefs who held my hand through the whole event.
But you know what? It was his vision that those chefs helped bring to life. And at the end of the day, it was his menu, his food, and everybody that was in attendance knows that that shit, he blew it out the water. So
is that when he busted out the cheese wheel?
No.
Just one of the times.
No.
That was just one of the times, right?
The cheese wheel,
we did risotto in it.
Some have said that the cheese wheel is a party trick, So for this event, we really wanted his skill to shine. You know what I mean?
He was hiding behind the cheese wheel.
That's what was being said. So I said, you know what? Fuck that. Let him do a 5-course dinner, and we'll show you the skills that the Hydro Chef got.
And I haven't had another event since.
Oh, you're lying.
Joking.
You're lying.
I've cooked for a couple people.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, for me, it's about the conversations. It's about the moment, and Cannabis Catered Event sets the moment. It sets the tone for all future events. And if you don't have entertainment, cuisine, and chefs who give a fuck, then you better call Cannabis Catered Events because they do.
And if you're a chef, you know what I mean, and I know you and I like you and I've had your cooking, any chef that really knows me knows that if people call me for something and I can't do it, I'm going to give you a call. You know what I mean? How many calls have you had for me, chef?
No, the great events, good people,
fun
people, people you want to meet.
I always share, and sharing is caring, and that's what I do with anybody that I feel has the skill. I give them opportunity.
So I'm going to give you the same opportunity to give a shout out to some people that gave you a chance back in the day and who's put you on a platform to do what you're doing. And shout out to all the homies. And we're missing a couple pieces of Cannabis Catered Events tonight, so shout out to all the other.
I got to shout out my boy Jeff Basso, JDabs24. Obviously, if you don't know, that's my partner in Cannabis Catered Events. I really could have not really done it without him. So, I started this shit, but he's going to help me finish it. And people like the Hydro Chef is on the team, on the squad, and that's what's going to help me grow and reach the next level. What can I say? I ain't got really nobody to thank but just the people around me. And
first of all, I'd like to thank myself.
I keep my circle small, you know what I mean? That's why... I've known you for 3 years. It's the same chefs that I fuck with. Chef Frank, Left-Handed Infusions.
Oh, yeah, the sushi chef, the only white sushi chef in the industry doing it right. only dude doing it right.
Hey.
Many fucking white boys try to do sushi.
I met him at my very first food event, bro. Cars and Cannabis, December 15th, 2018, bro. You know what I'm saying? I did infused pizza, my elote pizza, and chicken Alfredo pizza.
I still eat that elote pizza recipe you gave me, bro. That shit's fire. To this day, that shit's fire.
And I'm saying, though, that's when I met him, and we still fuck with each other, bro. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's like when I add to my circle, I just, I keep that shit thin, bro.
So shout out to Cannabis Catered Events and all the chefs. Big ups to Chef Rudy for coming out and keeping us entertained and hitting this fucking DMT psychedelic pen with me. We're going to take another puff before you leave.
Hey.
Let's take some
I might
dabs.
hit that DMT pen again.
That's
bro.
it. That's what's up.
I'm back to earth.
DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis.
Oh, it's not DMT Radio.
Now, thank you to Saint for making us sound good. Big ups to Chef Rudy.
Man, 100. It was so fun, bro. Thanks for having me. I love you guys.
dfzradio.com.
I never want to come down. Smoking and choking, and that's how you know. How many pounds can I smoke? How many hits to KO? I never want to come down. Smoking and choking, and that's how you know. Windows down, I've been cruising through the city. Got my puff going a dash, staring at my bitch's titties. Trying to sell a box or two, baby, in her distant 20s. Like, now I roll them fat, and I used to roll them skinny.
Yeah, that's that track right here, E-Zone. We don't smoke the same. How many? Let's go. dfzradio.com. Farm to Table Cannabis.
So I think I'll take another puff and be at ease with the top down. Feel the breeze blowing through my LA Dodger fitted cap. You know my steez.
So past the OG, take a hit. I'm feeling free and insane. With the backwood with no veins, roll it up and take a hit of different strains to the face. Then I'm in space.
I'm in space. It's that California living, palm trees waiting women. You know that we've been winning ever since the beginning. So keep the record spinning and the insane twisted up. Pour a shot in your glass, baby, and live it up.
Let me get my next drink and fill it to the top. It's a double shot, pour it on the rocks. Now I'm crossing phase and it's feeling bomb. This some real smokers. You can't fake the funk when you fuck with us. No, you smoking tough.
How many pounds can I smoke? How many hits to KO? I never wanna come down. Smoking and choking, and that's how you know. How many pounds can I smoke? How many hits to KO? I never wanna come down. Smoking and choking, and that's how you know. Windows down, I've been cruising through the city. Got my puff going a dash, staring at my bitch's titties. Tryna sell a box or two, baby, in her distant 20s. Like, now I roll them fat, and I used to roll them skinny.
On Team King and you listen. Yo, it's BKJ on Team King and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
It's Canna Chef Jen and you're listening to DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis with the Hydroponic Chef.
Hey guys, this is Alice Moon. I'm sending some major love to the hydroponic chef. He did an epic job at the High Times Cook-Off, so go follow him. I'm high now. Sending some love, 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 love.
This is Mark with Cannabis Supper Club, and you're listening to DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis with the Hydroponic Chef.
Yeah, this is Rudy with Cannabis Catered Events, and you're listening to DFC Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis with the Hydroponic Chef.
dfzradio.com.
General Hydroponics.
Yeah. Young F.
I knew you was mine the first time I gripped you. So many others on the menu, but I had to have you. Case you ever snapped, I had two. One on the side, one just to ride. When the other one acting up. Roll with me and got matching trucks. One clean, while the other one catching dust. How about you and me? Let's paint the town like no one else exists but us two when we skating around right. I can't deny it, no keep quiet. This kind of love. No, she's so worth it, so perfect. Can I tell you what you remind me of?
Skateboard, baby. Cause I wanna ride you, something like a grip tape, yeah. Cause I can't wait to lay you down, and I plan on riding all night, yeah. Till the sun comes up or the hot lights flash. I'ma play the top, you just play the bottom. As long as you rollin', you know that I'm riding.
I'm about to slam it like a car door. Keep you on all four, give you it hardcore. How you deserve it, you already know the ledge. Live life over the edge. I fucked with you on the red. Look at all the blood that I bled. I took the fall, but I got up. Brushed myself off and I kept skating right to where you were located. That ass deserving ovation. Time with you never wasted. And our conversations are spoken mainly through body language. Concept is complicated. Before I grind, I'ma need some wax. This kind of coping don't crack. I prefer to keep my bands on when I'm climbing in from the back and say I'm keeping her grounded and she keep me on wood. My bottom bitch, I admit I don't treat you like I should.
On my skateboard, baby. Cause I wanna ride you, something like a grip tape, yeah. Cause I can't wait to lay you down, and I plan on riding all night, yeah. Till the sun comes up or the hot lights flash. I'ma play the top, you just play the bottom. As long as you rollin', you know that I'm riding.
There should be no debate on where you came from. Birthplace, that Golden State. I rode an 8.5, non-ply, no rollerblades on my toes. Before this thing went in vogue, I was still skating on bones. Even had a brigade of my own. Anxious, couldn't wait to leave home. Yeah, to hit a curb and some stairs. With the herb in the air, to drop in the bird, I was scared. I had a board I named Medina. After abroad, I was seeing both remind me of each other. And the reason I knew it would end in pieces. And I'd have to find another, treat that rubber like a helmet. That was advice from my brother. Treat my wood like my woman, and my woman like my wood. Oh yeah, she bad, and that's bad. You remind me,
boy, baby. Cause I wanna ride you, something like a grip tape, yeah. Cause I can't wait to lay you down, and I plan on riding all night, yeah. Till the sun comes up or the hot lights flash. I'ma play the top, you just play the bottom. As long as you rollin', you know that I'm riding,
blindfolded, I rhyme, hoping that my opponent's the bona fide unassigned chosen. Thoughts broken from the modern and the model open. Interwoven, I'm in the moment, I need explosives. What you see at night, why you looking for a fight? The stage fright got me praying I don't see the light. If only judge and jury, then I don't need to worry. I got a theory, I'll be put in charge, write the story. So where's that organic? I need my general, highly compatible, edible, hydro been on my vegetable, audible, getting legible out of my mind, but credible. Attitude, I'm an animal, hear me, I'm breaking decimals. You hear the sound shake, and see the glass break. I'm out here causing reactions, I'm on my full weight. No hate, just a smile and a new style. Close the curtain, I'm certain we're gonna be a while. Some things to say, but my mind's kind of a blank page. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wandering through this abstract, I can't gauge. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Backstage, and if God's willing, I zone in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Born thrilling, the curtains cut me open. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Living in the sky, reach the pivots of my limits if it's written in the sky. Getting by without a lot of try. It seems you ride a frolic theme, ride a pop, but I'd rather make a game going bane on it. I make it rain on it. Your parade, I take a day off of work to keep a flame on it. Bloom flora, room by the hour, room getting smaller, full sun. I'm in the kind of like some things to skip on my mind's kind of a
Heavy T Grow Show coming up next. Shout out to Chef Rudy, Cannabis Catered Events. Farm to Table Cannabis, dfzradio.com. Stay tuned. Call in 562-653-0707. Let's go.
Previously on a very unique.
I know dance like this. It's a long time. I know groove like this. We sing yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh. Alright. Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh. We sing yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh. Alright. Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh.
All right, stay tuned. We got the Heavy T Grow Show coming up. That was Farm to Table Cannabis with the Hydroponic Chef. Once again, shout out to Chef Rudy, Cannabis Catered Events, CCE_chef_Rudy on Instagram. Let's go. Heavy T Grow Show.